Today, we're taking a logo like this and turning it into a 3D object that you can use in 3D motion graphics or maybe even 3D prints like this. It's a rather simple process, so let's get into it. First things first, in a new project, as always, we remove everything because we're not going to need that. And it's important that you have a vector image. That's why I was showing you that in Illustrator before, because we're going to come up here to File and Import, and we're going to import a scalable vector graphic file. That's an SVG. If you have a different type of vector image, like in EPS, for instance, which is a very industry standard format to use for vector images as well, there's a lot of online converters where you can just upload your EPS file and download the same file but in SVG. So we're going to just import that. And once you import it, you will see a very small scale version of your image. In this case, the vector is built up a little weirdly because, as you can see, the logo has all of these lines and these dots, which is all vectors. And I don't actually want that in my final 3D version because they're quite messy. So what I'll do is I will select everything that I want to keep, so like this, and press H on them to hide them. Now we can see all of these other vectors and how messy they really are. For a 2D logo, that doesn't matter, but for a 3D model, this is way too much trouble to really be worrying about, so I'm just going to select all of this and throw them away. Now pressing Alt and H, I will get back everything that I just deleted, and then we have all of these different paths. So I know for a fact that I can also delete that border and select all of the text, because those are going to stick together anyway, and pressing Ctrl and J merges them into one single path, and now I only have 4 different objects, which is a lot more manageable. So let's go over and do the P first here. If we come down into the object data properties, we can find the geometry tab, and here we can simply extrude out the path. So we want to make the P a little taller like that. Then we go up to the M, and I want to make that a little less tall so that they don't really clip through each other too much. Then the bar under it, I'm going to extrude out as well. And then finally, we have the company name itself, which we can just extrude up and maybe lift up a little bit, extrude a little less. Maybe this needs to be extruded a little more. It really all depends on what you want to end up using this for. And just like that, I turned that 2D Illustrator file into a usable 3D model that I can use for like a intro animation or something simple like that. And these are still very much separate objects, so I can even animate them in if I wanted to. I can scale them, and I can go set origin to geometry so that they actually scale up and down like you would expect them to. And although I don't know too much about the specifications for 3D printing, I imagine that this could probably be used for something like that as well, maybe with a couple of minor changes. And a very big thank you to all of my Patreons. You can see them on screen right now. If you want to help out supporting the channel, there's a link down below in the description to the Patreon page.